everybody. Welcome once again to another yoga session. I recommend that today you have some kind of squishy towel, or if you're working on carpet, you'll probably be fine because we will be on one knee for a little bit, and that can be kind of hard if you're on a hard surface. In addition, if you would like to sit on a pillow or a bolster as we get started in our guided meditation, I also recommend that. Once you've gathered that, go ahead and take a seat on your mat in a comfortable position. Go ahead and close the eyes and start to get the jitters out of the body as we transition from whatever we were doing before to now focusing our attention inwards to ourselves on our mat. Sometimes it takes a moment to center oneself. And so that's why we take this time at the beginning of our practice to be sure that our attention is where we want it to be. And keeping our gaze either soft or eyes closed. Let's start to notice our body position. Noticing our head and neck and shoulders. Feel free to move the head around, maybe shrug the shoulders a few times just to get everything aligned over our neutral spine. Yoga is a balance of ease and effort. And as we sit here in our centering, it's no different. We want to find the ease within ourselves, as well as the effort to ensure proper posture and technique to take care of our bodies. Now drawing our attention to our breath, not judging or changing it, just noticing something that we might otherwise not even pay any attention to. Notice what the breath feels like as it enters through your nose, down the back of your throat, expanding the lungs, expanding the belly. Notice how the chest rises and falls with each breath in and out. And now would be a good time to think about an intention we might want to set for our practice. What is it that you would like to focus on today? What do you need to find within yourself today? Maybe it's calmness. Maybe it's energizing. Maybe it's a peaceful practice. Maybe it's just being present in whatever feeling we have in the very moment we experience it. And if you can think of one word that represents the intention you want to set today, let that be your mantra. I want you to think about that word. Think about that intention as you practice today, and as your mind wanders, to bring your mind back to that intention. So for example, you could say to yourself, I am calm, I am peaceful, I am solid. Or I am energized, I am healthy, and I am excited. Just take a moment to think about that intention and reflect upon it. Inhale and exhale. Gently open your eyes. We'll start now by just placing the tips of our fingers down towards the mat. Reaching down, but also elongating the spine, lifting the head up towards the sky as the fingers sink towards the ground. Noticing the space from our ears to the tops of our shoulders. We just sit. You might feel a stretch through the arms. The back might start to feel a little tired from sitting with good posture. And I'm going to simply walk one hand behind and the other hand over the knee and look over the back shoulder. Imagining that the spine is just twisting in place, not bending forward or backwards. Just a gentle twist to begin. Inhale, exhale, release the twist, and then we're going to go up around to the other side. So reaching over that knee, the opposite arm behind, look over the shoulder, and breathing, remembering that intention through every movement that we do today. How can you be more strong or energized or calm throughout your practice today? Inhale, exhale, releasing, coming back to center. I'm going to bring one hand down to the mat, reaching the other hand up over the top of the body, laterally flexing the spine. And it doesn't have to be the farthest we've ever gone. We're just warming up right now, warming up the core. Breathing through the side body, letting our other hand just press into the ground to support us. Inhale, exhale, bring that arm down. Good, reaching down to the other side, bringing that arm up and over and supporting ourselves, again, laterally flexing. Shoulders are stacked over one another, still in line with the hips, just moved over slightly. Breathing into the side body, reaching through those fingers, seeing how long we can make the side of our body. Inhale, exhale, coming back up. Good. We're going to bring the arms out in front, interlace the fingers, flipping the palms out, and bringing the sternum towards our spine, spreading out the shoulder blades, and dropping the top of the head towards the hands. So we're making the chest concave. And when we inhale, imagine all of that oxygen going to the back body, spreading the shoulder blades, stretching the upper back. Inhale to stretch. Exhale to relax. Good. And now we're going to inhale. Exhale, bringing the one shoulder down, the other one up. So hands are going to stay about the same spot, just laterally flexing the spine again this time, allowing the shoulder blades to spread on the upper back. Good. Inhale up. Exhale down to the other side. Again, still pressing through those hands, but allowing the shoulder blade to spread across the rib cage. Breathing into anywhere you feel tightness. exhaling relaxation. Good. Inhale up to center. And one more. Let's bring those hands up over top. So in any position, just imagine that we want to keep the neck long and the shoulders away from the ears. So instead of up here, as we're reaching really high, we're going to bring the shoulder blades down against the rib cage, knitting at the front ribs together. So we're not flaring out the rib cage, but we're keeping a nice space between the ears and the shoulders without arching the back. Good. Inhale and exhale. Release the hand. Whew. Get some blood back in there if you need to. Good. Hands back down, fingers touching just the sides of the mat once again. We're going to inhale, exhale, bring one ear to one shoulder. Just breathing into anywhere you feel tightness in the neck. And you're going to look down at your knee. Notice how the stretch changes. Keeping our breaths nice and even. Good. Bringing the head back up to center and down to the other side. So first, just ear to shoulder. Breathing into the side of the neck. And then when we're ready, rotating our nose and chin towards the opposite knee. Doing that beautiful stretch in our neck. Good. Inhaling up to center. Now we're going to bring the chin to the chest, letting the weight of the head stretch the back of the neck. If you'd like, you can get a little more pressure, a little more stretch by gently placing the hands on the back of the head and manually pressing down, but we still want to manage that effort and ease. We're always gentle with our bodies, respecting our bodies, and listening to our body for when we've reached that point. Inhale, exhale, release the hands, and let's go ahead and look back up again. So I'm going to go ahead and remove my pillow and go ahead and roll on back onto the mat. So placing the feet hip width apart, I'm going to slowly just roll on down onto my mat. I'm just going to lay there just for a moment, adjusting the spine, making sure it's nice and level and neutral, not twisted off in any strange direction. Then I'm going to bring the knees into the chest, giving them a gentle hug. And just being here for a moment, releasing the low back. For some people, it feels good to rock side to side. Always your choice. Find what works for you. It is very personal. These are always just suggestions, not commands. No one knows your body better than you. Good. Coming back to center, releasing the knees, allowing the feet to come to the ground. Hands coming to the side, allowing the bottom of the pelvis to reach towards the heels, then lifting up into our first bridge of the day. Ensuring that we're keeping a space between the chin and the chest. And trying to breathe as natural, as normal as possible. Inhale, exhale, lower down one vertebrae at a time, nice and easy. Once you hit the ground, go ahead and bring the knees back into the chest. Maybe this time, if it feels good, bringing the chin to the chest, allowing the back of the neck to release. Some people like to turn side to side, entirely up to you. Good. Inhale, exhale, release the feet to the ground, tuck the pelvis. We're going to inhale those hips up. Good. This time, let's go ahead and clasp our hands together, bringing the shoulder blades in towards one another. So we're going to press from the backs of our arms into the ground. At the same time, we're pressing the palms together. Now, if this one isn't for you today, don't worry. There are many variations. For example, you can just stay in bridge. You can bend the elbows and just press down to help assist in the lift. Or if you have a block, you can place it underneath the hips to aid in a little help there. Good. Inhale. Exhale, slowly lower down. Good. Taking our time hinging at the hips, bringing the knees into the chest, releasing that low back. Be with it for a moment. Inhale and exhale, release those feet to the ground. Supporting the head, we're going to start with our upper body crunch, just lifting off the mat on our inhale and lowering down on the exhale. Inhale up, exhale down. Nice and easy, not pulling on the head. Just keeping a nice safe space underneath the chin so that the neck is protected. Moving just as slow and controlled as our breath wants us to. Inhaling up, exhaling down. If you need to take a break at any time, that's fine. Just rest and rejoin when you're ready. Inhale up and exhale down. Just working on our rectus abdominis, or our six pack. Inhale up, exhale down, and relax. Good, bringing the hands by the sides. We're going to bring the knees over the hips, and the knees about 90 degrees. On our inhale, we're going to inhale the knees forward towards our chest, lifting the hips off the ground and exhaling down. So under control, inhale up and exhale down. And it's up to you how far you would like to go. Just going to the point that works for you. Maybe to the point that challenges you. Maybe it challenges you a lot. Maybe it challenges you just a little, and that's what we want today. Pick that spot. You can always mix it up. And maybe you can do a little tiny one, and then maybe you want to do a big one, a full, all the way out. More variation, just keeping the legs long. Just controlling the movement once again on the breath. Many variations. You pull in and out. Any of the above. And if you need to, take a break at any time, or if you're ready, we can move on to upper and lower. So we do them both together. Knees over hips, hands on the side of the head, crunch up, exhale down, inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, exhale down. You can continue on here, or if you want to just do the upper or just do the lower, you do you. And perhaps variation, you can reach up towards the toes, and we can go alternating, coming up across. This is just a little extra strength, which I'm sure you're really excited about. Any of the above that works for you. Good, let's go one more. And allowing the feet to come to the mat, hands coming to the sides, tuck the pelvis, lift the hips. And here's another one to try if it's accessible today. I'm going to place the thumbs behind the hips, fingertips on the sides, gently lifting the hips with our hands for support. Now staying there if that works for you, if you're finding that that is not what's going to work for you today. If you have a block, you can use the block in very much the same way. Underneath the hips, just be very careful because we don't want you to fall down off your block. This also allows us to rest a little bit. Totally up to you whether you want to rest or be working by pressing through with the hands. Breathe deeply. Inhale. Exhale, release the hips, slowly lower down, curling all the way. Inhale the knees up into chest and just rest for a moment. Good, let's release those feet down. I'm going to slowly roll over onto one side of the body, placing our elbow underneath the shoulder. We're going to bend both knees, and we're going to keep the hips in line with the knees, in line with the shoulder. So they're all lined up. And then we're going to gently lift the hips off the ground. What we're looking for is a relatively straight line from the top of the head down to the knees. Now, if that's hard for you to do, by stacking both those knees, you can also place another foot down and assist, right, by pressing into the ground. There's a number of ways we can do this. Some people like a little extra stability out there. If you're ready, you can also do both. Totally up to you how you want to do it. We want to make sure that our shoulders are stacked over each other and not rolling forward or back or one down and one up. So find the permutation that works for you. And we always really want to start slow and work our way up. Good, inhale, exhale, lowering down. You can just roll over if you'd like. I'm going to flip over so you can see me facing this way. Bending those knees, making sure the elbows tucked in under the shoulder, lifting up. So we're squeezing in front of the body, we're squeezing the side body. Pushing the hips forward so they're in line with the knees and the shoulders. And this modified side plank. Good, inhale, exhale. You got this. A few more breaths here. Good, one more inhale, exhale, lowering down. Go ahead and roll on over onto your stomach. We can stack the hands if we like, or just overlapping them. And just breathe. Good, let's inhale. We're going to bring our arms out to the sides as if it's good, right? In the goalpost position. Just lifting the arms up. And we can stay there, or we can also squeeze from the low back and the glutes and the hamstrings, keeping our knees relatively straight. We can bring the hands down to the sides, palms down into our locust. Inhale, exhale, lowering down. Rest, or we can kind of crunch with it as an inhale up and exhale down. So inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, exhale down. And you can experiment with the arm positions, the leg position slightly, and kind of flutter. This is working on our back strength and flexibility. Just be sure to listen to what your muscles are telling you. Inhale up, exhale down. Matching our movement and our breath. Taking our time and being very deliberate with what we do. And perhaps one more breath cycle and relax. And from here, let's go ahead and hinge one knee. So my left knee, I'm going to reach for my ankle with my left hand, keeping my legs as parallel to each other as I can. I'm just bringing that foot back. Once again, if you can't quite reach your foot yet, this is what the towel would be for, or a strap, just to give you a little extra distance. And then for a little bit deeper stretch, if you squeeze your glute muscle, your butt muscle on the left side as well, you'll notice a deeper, more active stretch in that quadricep. Inhale, And exhale, release the foot to the ground. Inhaling the right foot up to right glute. Squeezing that glute muscle. That helps to extend the hip a little bit farther. And just breathing into anywhere we feel tightness. So that quadricep is probably feeling pretty tight as we're pulling it. So as you inhale, imagine the air, the oxygen going to the muscle. And as you exhale, you want to imagine the muscle lengthening and elongating and stretching. Good. Inhale and exhale. Release the foot down. Good. Release your forehead to your hands and let the neck relax. Good. I'm going to go ahead and bring our hands underneath the shoulders. Elbows will be pointed back. We're going to push up and back, keeping on our knees. So up and back, and kind of readjust into table. Wrists underneath elbows, underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, knees about hip width apart. And you're in that nice neutral spine. You can gaze down at the mat. And just to keep the neck nice and elongated. And once again, every movement's really going to depend on your body. So from here, we're going to go into spinal balance, simply by lifting our right arm and left leg straight out. Imagine that someone is pulling from the wrist and from the ankle. Your body is stable and strong, even if it doesn't feel like it in this very moment. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Place that hand and knee down. Good. Readjust as you need to. Go ahead and inhale the left arm and right leg out. Once again, keeping your arm and leg and torso parallel to the ground as long as possible. Stabilizing, strengthening, working on that muscle endurance as we hold. Breathing through. Inhale, exhale, lowering the hand and knee to the mat. On our next move, we're going to inhale the opposite arm and leg up, bringing the elbow to knee, arching the back, and then reversing that movement. It's going to be a little crunch and then straightening out. So it's not about speed. Think about how we're moving. Nice and easy. Inhaling up, exhaling out. Maybe one more. Good, bringing it down, switching over to the other side. All the way out. Arch the back, bring the elbow to knee, tuck the head, and then reverse. So check yourself to make sure that we're not just swinging and moving quickly, right? We want to go back to that beautiful spinal balance, focusing on that technique as much as we can in between. Moving with the breath. And one more. Excellent. Bringing the hand and knee back to the mat. Go ahead and sit back on the heels. We're going to place the backs of the hands on the mat. Just letting the weight of the body gently press to reverse all that pushing on the wrist we've been doing. Keeping the back nice and neutral. Head supported with a neutral neck as well. Excellent. And releasing there. So coming on over, we're going to walk our hands forward and our knees back into a kneeling plank or modified plank. So as we start to work more on technique, some of the things that we're looking at here are not just to be on hands and knees, kind of at an angle. We're trying to line the hips in between the knees and the shoulders. So not really up here, not hanging down here on this particular move, but solid. So getting into this position and holding, and then activating the abdomen, pulling the belly button kind of up and back towards the spine. Right? Allow the shoulder blades to be secure against the rib cage as opposed to winging out. So secure against the rib cage. Now think to elongate the neck. And hold there for a moment, being sure to breathe. Good, now we're going to inhale. As we exhale, we're going to lower down by bending the elbows so they're grazing against our rib cage. We're going to slowly go as low as we can, all the way to the ground. And rest. All right, when you're ready, we're going to push up and back into extended child's pose. So up and back, extended child's pose. Reaching the hands out. Allowing the forehead to drop to the mat. Glutes towards the heels. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, let's come forward into that kneeling plank. Exhale, we're going to slowly lower down and rest. Breathe there for a moment. Pull up into cobra. So we're going to, by pushing through our hands, we're going to pull our chest up and through. Now, we can do this without hands as well because we're using the muscles of the low back, the erector spinae. We're just lifting. We've elongated the neck. Our heart is lifted. Right? And we can gently press. There are more variations we can get into, but just starting very gently today. Good. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to push up and back into extended child's pose. And rest here for a couple of breaths, and then we're going to move into that cycle. So just resting here, breathing for a moment. Good. After our next exhalation, we're going to inhale, forward, exhale, lowering down, inhale, lifting up into cobra, exhale, push back into extended child's pose. Inhale, forward into plank, exhale, lowering down, inhale, lift up into cobra, exhale, push back into extended child's pose. Inhale, exhale, inhale forward to plank, exhale lowering down, inhale lifting up to cobra, exhale push back to child's pose, inhale forward to plank, exhale lowering down, inhale lifting up, exhale pushing back into child's pose. Good, you did it. Rest there for a moment. All right. Moving on, let's get some of the legs involved. Let's inhale forward into table. Then we're going to bring our right foot between our hands. However you get there, does not matter. Right foot between the hands. Okay. So now we're going to come up and we're in a kneeling lunge. Kneeling lunge. All right. So we want to make sure that there's space between. So if our other foot was planted, it's almost like we're on railroad tracks and not on a balance beam on this one. So from here, we could just hang out here and let the back arch and the belly drop. What we're trying to do is tuck the tailbone down, lift the front of the hips. So tuck that tailbone down, lift the front of the hips, right? Spine is going to be nice and long and neutral here. Pushing forward, if we like, as well. So you're still tucking the tailbone down, lifting the front of the hips, but lowering the hips down towards the ground. The front knee is not really extending past the toe. It's pretty well stacked over the ankle. And we're going to bring the arms up and overhead. And the fingers are active, and we're almost squeezing the hands in as if I have this block in between my hands and I'm pushing it in so it doesn't fall. So that's a good way to practice to make sure that you're engaging those muscles. It's by pressing together, but you can do the same movement without actually pushing something. All right. Inhale, exhale, release the hands back down to either side of the right foot. Bring the foot back. We're going to sit on back into extended child's pose. Good. We're going to inhale, coming forward, bring the left foot forward between the hands. Make sure we have that distance. We're going to come on up. Ensure that the tailbone is tucked, right? The front of the pelvis is lifted towards our face. We're going to lift the arms up overhead. Fingers are active. We can bend into that front knee as we feel the challenge that we would like to have. And we're squeezing those hands in together as if you're holding something really heavy over your head and you don't want it to drop. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Good, let's release those hands. Place it on either side of the foot. Bring that foot back. Sit on back, extended child's pose. All right, now we're going to progress. So we'll be standing through some very similar motions. These are almost the next step, but I don't want to say step as if, that's a goal per se. It's different for everyone. It's just another variation. So you can continue on with what we've been doing, or if you're ready, we'll move on into standing. So what we're going to do is we're going to come forward, but instead of being in child's pose, we're going to tuck the toes under, lift the hips up and back into downward facing dog. Now since we just got here to downward facing dog, we're going to pump the feet a little bit, pedaling the feet, releasing the calves, releasing the hamstrings as we're here. And in downward dog, we want to think to not be placed over the shoulders, but instead shifting the weight more towards the back of the body. So you're pushing the ground away towards the hips, towards the heels. If your heels come off the ground, that's totally fine. So from downward facing dog, we're going to come forward into plank. So I like to adjust my feet or my hands because I need a little more distance. All right, so now we're in plank. We're going to do that same movement, bending the elbows so that they're grazing the rib cage. You can hover and hold for a moment, and then we're going to push up and through. Now, up to you how far you want to go on cobra. It can be a low cobra or high cobra. And we'll give you another variation in up dog in just a minute. Okay, we're going to tuck the toes under. We're going to push up and back into downward facing dog. All right, so now we're going to try it again. So we're going to inhale forward to plank. Exhale, lowering down. Inhale, lift up into cobra. And then tuck the toes under. Exhale, push it back into downward facing dog. All right, so the next variation, we're going to lift up instead of into cobra. We're going to try upward facing dog if that feels good today. We'll show you what that is. Inhale forward. Exhale, lowering down. Inhale, lift up, but lift the hips off the ground. So you're going to be touching from the palms of the hands and the tops of the feet. So the hips aren't touching the ground. Good. Exhale, push on back, downward facing dog. Let's do that one more time. Inhale forward. Exhale, lowering down. Inhale, lift up and through. Exhale, tuck those toes, push back into downward facing dog. Good. Come down to the knees. Sit on back, extended child's pose, child's pose. Maybe right now you want to release those hands. Give the wrists a little twirl. Very good. All right, just letting the arms drape over the side. Take a few breaths here. Just relaxing. Warming this body up. Nice and warm, especially with the weather we've been having. Good, all right, we're gonna inhale, reaching forward, tuck those toes under for another downward facing dog. pedal the feet. Pedal the feet. You lift the right leg up into the air, just pointing that toe up as far as it goes today. Good. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to bring the right foot between the hands, placing it down. So far, so good. All right. Then we're going to come up. So now we're in our lunge. Check your feet. Maybe they need a little distance between them. So what it would look like straight on is if you're here, you're on a balance beam. So we need space between the feet. All right, so let's do that. All right, so now we're in our lunge. Heel is going to be off the ground. Front knee is going to be placed over the ankle and going in the direction of the second toe or big toe, depends on your toes, right? Same thing we need to do with the hips here is tuck that pelvis under, and you'll feel a nice pull in the hip flexor here. You're going to bring the arms up and overhead, squeezing in once again, allowing the shoulder blades to drip down the rib cage as we normally do. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Bring those hands down to the mat. Bring that right foot back to meet the left into downward facing dog. Great job. All right, on our next inhale, let's lift the left leg up in the air as high as it goes today. Inhale. Exhale. Reach the left foot between the hands. Dropping the right knee down to the ground if you need to. And coming up, tucking the hips under, allowing the spine to be neutral, pushing into that front knee as needed, bringing the arms up overhead, squeezing the hands towards one another. Nice long spine. Beautiful. Keep breathing. You're doing great. Lunge. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Bring the hands down to either side of the left foot. Push that left foot up and back to meet the right into downward facing dog again. Breathing here, pressing the chest towards the thighs. Pressing the ground away, elongating your spine. And the ground up. Good. Inhale. Exhale. On your next inhale, you can hop forward or walk the feet up towards your hands. And hang out in a forward fold. So your forward fold is just all the way down. And all the way down. All right. Inhale up to halfway or flat back. Exhale down. Inhale all the way up, hands overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up. I'm going to you. My hands are facing each other. I'm going to bring my hands down to heart center. Okay. I'm going to adjust my feet, making sure that my feet are making good contact with the ground. All four corners of the feet are solid and grounded. I'm going to bring my thigh bones back towards the back of my body, lifting the kneecaps by engaging my quadriceps. Gently pressing into my hands. Just once again grounding myself. Go ahead and close the eyes ever so gently. Or keep the gaze soft. So when we say keep the gaze soft, that means we're not really looking at anything. Our eyes might be open, but everything's fuzzy. Because we want to go within. Inhale. Exhale, release the hands down to the sides, palms facing forward, Tadasana. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, arms all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Plant the hands by the feet. Go ahead and take a step back and kneel down. Take a step back and kneel down, sitting all the way back towards the heels in extended child's pose. Good, inhale forward. So if you're on a hard surface, you want to go ahead and place something underneath the knee. If you're on a soft surface, you're probably already ready. So, for example, I would use my towel. I'm going to place it under my right knee. And I'm going to keep this leg relatively perpendicular to the ground. I'm going to place my hands on the ground and reach my opposite leg out. So I'm going to walk that foot out as far as it goes comfortably today, which may already be there. And I'm going to use my hands to support myself, and I'm going to gently rock back by sitting back towards my heel. So this is a great way to kind of dynamically stretch the inside of the hip. And you're just going to move forward and back with your breath. So for example, inhaling forward and exhaling back. So your range of motion may look really different than mine. So do not worry, always do the move that feels good for your body in this very moment. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. Thinking once again about your intention for today. What brought you here as we cool down towards the end of our session. One more breath cycle in and out as we sit back. Good, bringing that knee in, switching it out if you need to. Same thing, trying to keep the planted knee relatively perpendicular to the ground, reaching the opposite leg out as far as it goes today. Then we're just going to sit back towards that heel, exhaling, inhale forward, rock forward onto the hands, exhale, sit back towards the heels, or heel, just one. So at your own pace, inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Keeping the gaze soft if your eyes are open. Just allows your vision to go out of focus. Closing the eyes. And one more breath cycle in and out. Excellent. Bringing that leg back in, moving the towel, putting it off to the side, or maybe you'd like to use it over your eyes for Savasana. Sitting down on our mat, placing the bottoms of our feet towards one another. And then thinking about sitting up nice and tall. More than anything else, widening the collarbones, allowing the posture to be active but not hyperactive. Gonna inhale, exhale, leaning forward, maybe using the hands to help walk ourselves out, and holding ourselves right where we're at if that's good, right? Again, it might be back here, and that's okay. Just keep the spine nice and long. But if you've got a little more play right there, a little more flexibility in the hips, inhale, exhale. Some of you might be able to hold completely in half. Just keep breathing. Breathing into anywhere you feel tightness. Now would be a good time to close your eyes if you haven't already. Just Taking a few more breaths here in this position. And when you're ready after our next exhale, slowly push yourself up. And then turn and lie back onto the mat into Savasana, or corpse pose. So in corpse, our eyes are closed, our hips are relaxed, our arms are away from the body, palms are facing up, our nose is pointed towards the ceiling, our face is relaxed, nothing holding on. If you need help kind of settling in, just gently rocking the head side to side, rocking the toes in and out, and then on the last rock out, just let them go. As always, feel free to adjust your back if you need to release any pressure points. You feel like you're just splayed out, not worrying about a care in the world. Allow your breath to be natural. Allow the tongue to be soft and loose. Allow the jaw to relax. Notice the scalp, where the hair meets your skin. Drawing your attention to your eyebrows and the corners, inside and outside of each eye. Into the nostrils, the corners of the mouth, your lips and jaw are relaxed. The soft space beneath your chin is loose. Your breath is easy. We inhale calmness and exhale deeper and heavier into our mat. Our shoulders relax. Our upper arms and elbows, wrists and fingers release. Our low back, our hips and thighs and knees and ankles, the arch of our foot to the tops of our feet and our toes. Release. When thoughts come into the mind, simply make note, but draw our attention back to our breath and the sensation we have as it courses through our body. Begin by slowly rotating the wrists and ankles, rocking the head slowly side to side. And keeping our eyes closed, just very slowly rolling over to one side of the body, carefully cradling our head. And still with our eyes closed, reflecting once again on the intention that we set for ourselves today. Holding on to that and taking it with us into the rest of our day and our week ahead. When you're ready, pressing gently into the ground and slowly coming up into a seated position, you can gently begin to slowly halfway open the eyes, but keeping the gaze soft. As we reintroduce ourselves back to our day. And inhale the arms up, hands meeting together, exhaling down to heart center. Inhale the arms up, exhale down. And our last inhale up, exhaling down, opening the eyes fully. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.